Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. As you guys have probably seen on our channel, we like to pimp out shotguns. We did something with the Mossberg Shockwave, we did the MK 1919. Well, this Smith & Wesson Governor shoots 410 shot shells, so close enough, we'll call it a shotgun. There's not a whole lot to do to this. I'm going to set these are the new grips, I'm going to set them aside for a moment. We do of course have an unloaded revolver. But from a sight perspective, there's not much to do to the sight. It's a night sight with a white ring, so it's got really easy to see sights, even though the rear is a gutter. So there's not much to do there. As far as the capabilities and calibers, it does 410, 45 long Colt, and 45 ACP. There's not much to do there. But let's talk about this rubber grip. Now it's very functional, it's very comfortable, but it's kind of plain. And this is a cool looking gun. Well, we were prowling around and we stumbled across this. I believe these are handmade, but they're mother of pearl inlay with a wood base, and the black and white coloration along with this revolver are going to look really, really nice. We found these on Amazon. We'll put some information in the description about these. So I'm going to show you how to change out the grips, and whether you want to go with something like this or some other type of grips, a wood grip or whatever, the process will be basically the same. So what you need is a 3/32 inch hex wrench, and a screwdriver or whatever it is that fits the new grips. In this case, it's just got a single relatively small screw, so this screwdriver will work. And I'm going to set this aside. I'll talk about this in a minute. So first thing we're going to do is back the screw out that holds the old grips in place, and it just comes right on out. The new grips, the old ones just kind of split and it pop off. So it's just a split grip, and there's your rubber grips. And what I'll do with these is I'm going to keep these, of course. I'll put the screw in them, run it back down in to keep them together so that the screw and the grips stay together and I don't lose the parts. And I'll set these aside. And now I'm going to go ahead and install the new ones. So I'll start with backing the screw out that holds them together, and then set that aside so that I don't lose that. And I'm going to dry fit these one at a time, make sure they seem to fit flush, and then I'll put them together. So I can pick either side. We'll do this one. And I'm just going to lay it on there, and then I'm going to look down in here and make sure that it's sitting as flush as possible, and look at the front along the ridge here. Of course, it's going to be hard to see on camera, but when you're looking at it yourself, what you're looking for is it sitting flush up against the gun, or is it kind of like canted up or cocked up in one direction. That one seems to fit. It fits a little tight, but it is fitting snug and level. And I'll pop that one off, and I'll do the same with the other one, except in reverse. And again, I'm looking for the same thing. I'm looking to make sure that it's fitting flush down in here, that when I squeeze on it by hand, it sits fairly flush, and it's not moving around a lot. And it seems to be pretty solid, so I'm going to put the two together. And then I'm going to kind of give them a gentle squeeze down the length of them, and then back up. And what I'm trying to do is make sure that if it needs to pop a little bit to pop into place, that it does. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the screw in. The screw's on this side. Now the important thing with any kind of grips other than rubber is not to over tighten this screw, and not to try to use the screw to drive the grips in. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of using my fingers and enough tension to tighten it. And I can check if it loosens up under shooting. I can either put a little bit of blue Loctite on it or tighten it up just a little bit more. But I don't want to over tighten it because I don't want to drive the rings out that hold it or crack this. Now, from a seam perspective, these are, I'm pretty sure these are handmade, but they're definitely wood. So the seam isn't going to be perfect. There's going to be a little bit of a seam at the front. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold it, and I'm going to kind of squeeze it in my hand like I was shooting the gun and make sure that they don't move around or pop or make any kind of shifting, and they're nice and solid. So these should work quite well. Now, rubber grips typically handle recoil really well, but this gun is big enough and heavy enough, and the grip is a full 3-finger grip, that the rubber grips weren't as important, I don't think, on this gun to handle recoil as, let's say, the 454 Cazul. So I have every expectation that even though these are solid grips, that they're going to be very comfortable, they're going to manage the recoil well, and they do have finger grooves, so the gun's not going to slide around in your hand, you're going to have a good grip on it. So that, I think, is going to look really cool. You got those skulls going on, and the white and the black pattern with the black gun is a really good combination. Now that other thing that I had in the view earlier that I kicked out of view, let me talk about that. Now, I had mentioned that this gun shoots 45 ACP, and it does, but to do that you use moon clips. And moon clips, a lot of people hate them because you have to manually load them and unload them, and if they get bent, they stop working. Well, I've got a solution that I found to deal with moon clips, and it's this Ranch Products moon clip extractor. So it's not really an accessory for the gun that goes on the gun, it's an accessory that makes the gun more fun to shoot, take with it at the range. These things are like about $8, fairly inexpensive, and this is what they look like. Now I've got a moon clip, but I don't have any spent brass, so I've got live ammo in it. So I'm going to put this away, get the gun out of reach, get it off the table, and go into the pocket where I stashed that moon clip. So you don't want to be messing around doing gunsmithing work on a gun with ammo at the same time. Things could end poorly if you accidentally weren't paying attention. But on a moon clip, you clip the ammo into the moon clip so that you can drop this into the cylinder. And because a revolver usually uses rimmed ammo to keep it from falling all the way through, the moon clip acts as the rim, because of course 45 ACP is a rimless. It's a auto cartridge for a automatic handgun. So this allows you to shoot 45. Big advantage of that is it's cheap comparative to 45 long Colt or 410, and the recoil's minimal, and this is readily available. 45 long Colt can be fun to find sometimes. But getting these off is really difficult sometimes because you got to try to stick your finger up in there, grab a hold of it, and pull it away. And when you're doing that, depending, I've got fairly large fingers, kind of thick fingers, the other rounds will interfere with pulling that finger through. So at this time, I'm trying to pull all 3 rounds and they're spreading out. Well, that's where this thing comes into play. You would do it with of course, these normally would be spent, but sometimes you might have loaded it and changed your mind. You would take this moon clip extractor and you would put it on like this. And what you'll see is there's a little catch on it, a little lip. And I would line it up like that so that I'm facing out. And this little clip catches on the moon clip and the body of it wraps around the ammo. And then all I do is that. So once you get into the swing of setting this thing right, you can easily strip one of these moon clips very, very quickly without risk of bending it. And that's one thing you might think, well, you don't need a tool like this. Be a man, just grab those things, yank them out of there. Well, you can do that, but if you bend one of these little tangs, then it'll stick up, and there's really no good way to flatten these. They're kind of like a spring steel. Once you bend them, they're bent. And then when you put them in the revolver with the rounds in them, the part that sticks up will catch on either the hand or the recoil plate or other components of the revolver and effectively make the moon clip useless. With this kind of tool, makes it real easy. So let me get rid of this ammo. So we got the ammo off the table. Bring the gun back. And there we are, back to our cool grips, our moon clip extractor. All that's left now is to get this thing back out to the range and have some fun with it. If you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, and have a great day. Thank you.